Hello, Reed Johnson. Now that we've got our smartwatch modeled, it's time to create a rendering of this smartwatch. Over in Fusion 360, I first switch over to the 3D render environment from the model environment. I do that over here in the upper left hand side. You can see I'm in model right now. If I pull this down, I can come to rendering. So render, select that. Now I'm in the render environment. The first thing to do is do my setup for my scene. It's called Scene Settings. I find this tool button up here. It looks like a lamp. I click on this, and this brings up the Scene Settings window. The first thing I want to do is set up the environment style. These are different styles of environments. This affects the reflections and what's happening around the object. For example, if I set this to Snowfield, my smartwatch will be sitting in a field of snow. If I set this to Plaza, my smartwatch will be sitting in the middle of a plaza. And that's what I'm going to select right now. I'm going to select Plaza. That is my environment style. Next, I want to expand the background. I expand background, and I can switch this over to environment from solid color. I'll click this button right here, environment, and now the environment style of the plaza is now the background. So my watch is sitting in that plaza. Next, I want to come to my ground options. So I click the arrow next to ground right here. That opens up the ground options, and I can turn on ground reflections. Hit the checkbox there. Put a little bit of reflection on the ground. Once I'm happy with this, I can click on close. Down at the bottom, I'll move this up. At the very bottom of this, you can see the close button. I'll click on close, and my scene settings are all set up. Now I can click the render button. Before I do that, I might want to zoom in or orbit a little bit to place this exactly how I'd like it to appear. I can look up a bit from below, or I can look down on it. I can decide how I want this to look. Once I'm happy with the view, I can use my view cube to do that, or shift and press my middle mouse button. I can orbit, get it where I want it to be. I can click on the enable ray tracing button. This will start the actual rendering. Click on this button, and Fusion 360 will start to render. There are several options here. There's advanced, it starts off grainy and starts to get better over time, or I can do a quick or a normal rendering. Might be good to start with a normal rendering process. It's going to start off a little bit grainy, and with a few passes it's going to clear up and give us a nice looking rendering. You can notice some of the detail areas as they start to clean up and the reflections start to get smooth and sharpen out where they need to. So we'll let this run. You can see with each iteration the image gets better and better. I'm going to let this one go to about 12. So we'll let that wait a second, get up to about 12, and then we hit pause on this. So here it is at 12. I'm going to hit pause. That puts a freeze frame on the render process. I like what it looks like right now. This is good for me. So now I can capture the image at this point. If I come over to the capture image button and click that one time, I can now save this out as an image. I will click simply OK, give this a name, and hit save. Now that rendering is saved out, and I can go back to that image at any time. At this point I can continue to render, but I am done, so I'm going to click on disable. That turns off the rendering, the ray tracing completely, and now I can hit close, and I'm done with rendering.